Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next episode review of Undead Girl Murder Farce, episode 11. And which I really gotta say really quick that which I'm finding out that there's actually not 12 episodes, but there's gonna be 13. So we got after this we got 2 more after this. So I'm like, good, because at least after watching this episode, I wonder how the last what I thought was the last episode was gonna end, right? But at least we got another 13th episode, just give us like a little more time to breathe for what was gonna happen in the next episode. So, which I'm good for. So okay, at least we got another episode after next week, right? But anyway, episode 11 of Undead Girl Murder Farce, which I'm glad that I'm glad that this episode is solely about Shizuku, because basically the main thing has been about Aya and Cigar, right? They have been the one that's been driving this series, just basically between the two of them, right? Especially with Aya's her speculation of deduction work, like Sherlock Holmes, and with Cigar, being the sarcastic and comedic, and also the big fighter of the series, And so, but Shizuku, she's been good, She had a little bit of moments back from episodes back, especially with Camellia the vampire, and among other small moments too. But she didn't really get chances to shine as being like the main focus in an episode, right? Well, here we finally got a chance to see her basically the center of this episode, mainly about her, right? So that gives her a chance, to be the shine as a standout, So in this episode, she does pretty much hold her own, trying to do a little bit towards the end to investigation, doing detective work like her mistress, right? So, and after which we already knew that, as I already said in the last one, that she's not dead, though. She may have fell in the water, but she's not dead. We already assumed that, right? Yes. So, and where we said from before that waterfall ends up down there was in the village of the werewolves. It turns out it is, which as we all suggested, right? So, yeah, she's down there in the village, but then she wakes up. She wakes up and she's naked and along sleeping with them other wolf girls, right? One's in her human form naked, and the other one is sleeping in her werewolf form. And I'm like, is this like a werewolf harem series? It's like just with High School DD, it's a devil harem series, and now you have a reverse harem werewolf moment here. Yeah, because she wakes up, she's completely naked and in bed with 2 other werewolf girls. Now I get the probably thing is probably because body heat to warm her up, because she was in very cold water, right? Due to probably hypothermia, right? So that's why they did that, right? So warm up with body heat. Okay, I totally understand that, but when you see it like that, I was like, I just had a chuckle at that. I did. So she is in the werewolf village, and there's like separate, like in sections, right? That there's no men in one part, and men have their own, and women have their own. But men have their own section of the village, and the women have their own, because they said they live by themselves, so no mates or anything. And so Shizuku wondering where she's at, and the blonde one, Nora was her name, Nora. And she's the one who found her and saved her. And first they're skeptical because three of their girls from their village were killed, right? Because they speculate, they tell the story of how, like, within a year, which around the same time was that guy told us that when they first arrived at that village, it was a year ago when these murders were starting, right? Because girls from their village have been getting killed off in there, And it's kind of like started at the same time. So, in this case, 3 of their girls, whether it's 11-year-old, a 15-year-old, or whatever, 3 of them were killed in the rain, headshots, and they couldn't find their scent because a lot of times because it's raining, it washes like all the evidence away, right? So it's basically a dead trail. The trail has gone cold each and every time, right? So they're skeptical of her because they say because they died from buckshots. you know, like basically like a shotgun, right? But the thing is, though, they're a little bit they ease up a little bit because she had her gun's a rifle, like a musket type, right? So it's not the same type of caliber than a shotgun is, right? So they assume that she's not the one who killed them. So they tend to ease up a little. They tend to ease up a little bit on that. But so there's like the mayor of the village, you know, this really old wolf bat, you could say. She's just a I gotta say that she's just a bitch, you know, because you feel like you just want to, you know, just like backhand her, you know. You feel like you just want to backhand and because says, hey, this is not her. She didn't do this, right? Because jumping ahead because they hear a gun. They hear. Basically, the whole village are watching her, right? They have all eyes on her, and then when they heard a gunshot, and later when they find that girl, Nora, dead, that old wench goes and says, oh, she did it. I'm like, yeah, she did it when she did all of this, when basically the whole village was watching her, staring at her, on top of this wooden, kind of like, you know, like, but we do, like, those high things, we like a Burning Man, right? But it says it's not Burning Man, though, but high up on a whole bunch of sticks, right? You see her there. The gunshot is, like, way in your background, right? But yet, this old wolf wench has the gall to say that, oh, she's the one who did it, even though way back there, you're all watching her. I'm like, someone please just backhand her, please. Yeah. Because, like I said, no humans are supposed to be here. And I like the fact where Shizuku, she does take, you know, not advice, but, you know, just basically you do what Aya does, you know, because she's been around her pretty much a long time, and she, you know, just, you know, learn experience of what, you know, Aya's her speculation, her deduction, right? So she does that a bit herself, you know, because concerned with the murder, she goes and says, hey, if the murder was human, would you be able to smell and hear them? After the fact, but they said no, because a lot of times when it rains, it like washes all the evidence away, though. So if it was human, you would be able to pick up the scent or heard them, right? So she's doing she's doing detective work on her own, doing the best she can, though. So, and plus, since after they bond a little bit over tea time, right? And they have to try to sneak her. They try to sneak her out, and through this carton of hay, but they have to go through the side of the village where the men are, right? But she gets caught, and you get this like nice little chase sequence, a very nice chase sequence. I think it's well animated too, as well, where she's running. She gets a broom, right? She gets a broom, and one of the male werewolves comes at her. She sticks the broom, the handle first, not the broom part. She sticks in the handle down that one's throat, pushes it. You can see blood spurt out. I'm like, damn, you know. I always knew that the Shizuku, she was a badass, you know, even with her group, you know, but she's still be able to hold her own, even when she's by herself. I mean, yeah, she was able to hold her own with trying to fight Camilla the vampire, but because due to that chemical thing she had when she struck her, she was, you know, trying to seduce her, you know, feel, you know, powerless, right? But she still was able to hold her own. But then they'll stop it when the old wench comes in, and you see that one guy who had the broom in her mouth, in his mouth. He changes back, and you see when he's walking, he's like this. And I'm like, I had to laugh because you had a broom shoved down your throat, you know. Of course you're gonna you're gonna feel that the next day, definitely. So, but then they tie her up though, but they want to put her on kind of like this witch trial, you know, like, you know, in you know, when they have witches on trial in a sort of a way, you know. They have it's not that though, but it's like they have them stick they have her stuck on a tower of wood sticks, right? We stick her on top of there, and it's kind of maybe like a lie detector. If whatever lie you say, we yank one stick out and until you fall basically to your death, basically. But of course, this old wench, you know, even though a lot of times she says that she's not lying, she goes and has them pull a stick anyway. I'm like, you wench, bitch. And that's when they hear the gunshot from the way in the background, and they find Nora dead. And that's when the old wolf wench had the cojones to say, oh, she did it. Even though, like I said, basically the whole entire village has all eyes on her, and she's tied up, sitting, you know, like this, like a prisoner, and yet she still did it because she's a human, and they don't trust humans. So there's her logical answer. So, but then Shizuku saying that, hey, let me try something, because my mistress, you know, she's a detective, you know. Of course, they don't know what a detective is, so they say they solve mysteries. So, and they try to say that her mistress is not human; she's an immortal. But they don't believe her. So, but she's trying to do detective work, even though they said, "Here, leave me bound," you know, leave me tied up. So she examines the Nora's body. They say because it's not, and plus she got shot in the chest rather than taking the headshot, right? Like the past three of them, right? And it's not raining, but she was wet, but kind of like her clothes were kind of dry, right? So maybe because she kind of, they speculate that, you know, she was placed there after the math, you know, her body was placed right here after she was shot. Maybe she was like taking a bath or something, and her body was wet, but her clothes was dry. So if they go to show that maybe she was killed somewhere else and her body was placed there after the math. And plus, there was two gunshots. There's one in her, and there was like one that ricocheted off a tree, and they have them touch where some of the shrapnel on the tree is, and it's still a little warm. So, but the thing is, though, how can it be two shots if they heard only one shot though? So maybe you could say, maybe I expect maybe it was a double barrel shotgun, because you could shoot both at the same time, maybe. And maybe just one hit one, and one just ricocheted off a tree, you know. But saying that, you know, hey, the elder bitch, you know, saying, hey, that's enough, kill her anyway. But even though the girls that they were with her earlier, you know, they tried telling her she didn't do this, she didn't do any of this. So, and then we get a little bit of with Aya and Shizuku and the two white cowboys. They use the stone to when the sunrise comes, they use the stone and to point the way where the Forest of Fangs is, right? So as they're walking alongside this cliff, all of a sudden, boom, Frankenstein just comes down on them. The blonde female cowboy, she falls off, but the other one grabs a chain and just grabs her and just kind of whips her around so that she can pull out her guns and shoot at Frankenstein. Which that was a pretty cool move, you know. She's fallen, she gets saved by the chain, and then when she's being whirled around from the chain, she goes and gets her guns and starts shooting at Frankenstein. So obviously, yeah, because remember, Professor Moriarty needs because they got what they did with the vampires. Now they need to do experiment with the werewolf now. So that's why Frankenstein is there. So Professor Moriarty is still moving on with his plan, even though, despite the fact Shizuku just pulled the wool over their eyes, which that was still very satisfying. That was probably one of the best. That was the best part of the series so far. But this episode itself has been the best episode I've seen. That's been happening a lot, you know. But especially this week, like the last episode with Reborn as a vending machine. That's been the best episode I've seen, because that left me in disbelief, especially with that happened with that zombie kid. Here, with Shizuku, you know, basically she's the center focus of this episode for a change, and also June trying to do detective work herself. And then in the next episode review of Last Boss Queen, which is coming up after this, like I usually do, Last Boss Queen, the next episode of 11, that's been the best episode I've seen. I'm like, this week has been full of best episodes for each of these series. It just goes to shows this season has been very great, especially for this year. I mean, earlier this year, you know, with Tomo-chan as a girl, later with Oshinoko and Hell's Paradise and what was after with Hell's Paradise? Fuck. Oh, and My Home Hero. And My Home Hero. I mean, this year has been full of really great series, and Ningen Fusion as well. The Adventurers, right? Ningen Fusion. That's been a great series. What was it? The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. I like that one though, but that'd be far back from the series because all these other ones has been very well written. So a lot of shows, a lot of very well written series, you know. Which like I said before, it's, you know, how sad how we write well written stories and characters in anime have been far better than most of these movies I've seen of today, you know, because especially we get nothing but shitty sequels or remakes and all these other reboots or whatever, nothing well written, all that stuff. It just sucks, you know, how anime has proven more than films themselves, especially when it comes to writing and story, especially in characters, and that is, you know, sad, pathetic, you know. But yeah, this episode 11 has been really great, which I'm glad we have two more after this. Not just after last week, but the next one the following week. And Shizuku, she's been really great at holding on her own, and I'm glad she was like the center of focus for a change, you know, instead of always on either Shizuku or Ai, right? I'm glad that Shizuku finally had her moment to shine on her own, and basically her own episode. Yeah, so episode 11, Undead Girl Murder Farce. 10 out of 10 episode, easily. It's been the best one I've seen. And although, like I said, the one Shigeru pulled by sneakily stealing that stone, it's been the best part of this, best moment of the series, though. But episode 11 has been the best episode of the series so far. So, but anyway, that's my review on that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of Last Boss Queen, and we'll see you next time. Later.